why is it that some country opt out, that they do not adhere? Okay, say maybe they have the option to or not to respect this law. Is it not supposed to be binding by everyone? Since we are talking of the universal human right, it's supposed to be equal for everybody. Then
Mhm.
some countries shouldn't have the option of whether or not to respect it. They should really respect this law because it is human right. Why is there the option for them to opt out from it?
Well, as you know, everything is political in the world, right? And so um, it's hard to bite the hand that feeds you. Let's put it that way. So it's very difficult for you to enforce something if you have an alliance with somebody. So say like, and I'm just going to use this as an example. I don't know that this is the case. I'm just using this as an example. Say like there's a country called, I don't know, the purple country, right? And this purple country is in collaboration or working with this red country. And the red country is supplying the purple country with things that they need. But this red country is violating people's human rights. And the red country doesn't want to obey and respect people's human rights. The purple country has the means to put pressure on this red country and stop them from doing things. But if they do that, then the red country is going to cut off maybe their food supply. So they don't want to stand up against this other country because now they're going to suffer. So it's a political battle that's going on. At some point, we're going to have to get to a place where we're saying that right is right and wrong is wrong and start holding these different governments accountable. I think there are groups of people across the planet right now who are standing up and doing just that. And over the course of time, I do see things getting better. It's just going to take us some time to get there because there's corruption everywhere in all aspects of the world and in everything we do, right? There's corruption going on. There's people that we have a lot of the wrong people in the right places. Let's say that. So we have to
Yeah,
work to get those people out.
that is true. There are a lot of wrong people in the right places, and they make everybody suffer the consequences of that. Uh, Now, you go around trying to promote human rights in different places. Uh, what do you hear people complain about? Maybe of their abuse, that, I mean, their right abuse. What kind of abuse do you hear often that people complain to you about, which of course justify why you are there, trying to let people know that they have a right? Because if everybody know that they have a right, they are being respected. You don't have a job going there, no?
The biggest rights that I hear people complaining about are racial and gender. People are discriminated against based off of racial things. People are discriminated on based off of what gender they have or what gender they're choosing to identify as. And so those are the basic things that I hear when I go out to these different companies is the gender and the racial thing. Sometimes religious, but mostly it's gender and racial. Sometimes it's a lot depending on where you're at. So it depends on what country you're speaking to because every country has different issues, right? So some countries it's a matter of the legal system, the criminal justice system. A lot of people have complaints about that because when they get arrested, they're being arrested falsely and they're not being given the rights that they should be given to in front of the court. They're not all kind of things. So it kind of depends on where you're at and the audience that you're talking to, the kind of complaint that you get.
All right, that's correct. It depends on where you are. So sometimes some of this
Mm-hmm.
right can be actually taken away from you. But let's say if you are in Afghanistan, or maybe if you are in Iraq or something, or some places like that, some of this right can be taken away from you. All right, what if you are maybe some of the most advanced country in the world, like in the United States, because you were born in the United States? What about racial justice there? Because these are part of the human right, if I'm not mistaken. So tell us about that.
United States has a lot of racial issues. It always has. So I can't sugarcoat that. And now it's because of media and media things going global. The whole world sees it now. It's been going on here from the beginning of time. It's just that the world really didn't know about it, right? Now it's come to light. Everybody knows there's racial injustice in the United States. We do have a lot of people here working on that, but we're not there yet. We have a long way to go because there's different perspectives on things. So when you've been raised in a society that tells you that this group of people is less than, and you belong to a group of people that's better, and that's where you were raised to think, it's kind of hard to get that group of people to understand that this other group of people that you're looking down on are human beings just like you, and they're entitled to have a life just like you, right? But if you were raised to believe otherwise and it's ingrained in your mind, it's very difficult to change that around. So there are some things taking place in the United States, but I have to be honest, the United States has a very long way to go. There's a lot of issues in the United States, not just racial. There's a lot of issues going on in the United States, and we have a very long way to go. And that's why I'm very big on, if you see something, say something. You can't be quiet. It's scary to speak up, but we have to unite with groups that are working with this on these issues. And because there's strength in numbers, but there's power in our unity. We have to unite if we're going to fight these things. We have to come together as humanity, not as Black people, white people, Hispanic people. No, we have to come together as human beings and stand up for what's right, because the power is with the people, not the government, to be honest. I believe that.
I believe that too. That is why we are here talking about issue that concerns us, because we are human beings. This is not the government talking. These are the human beings. We are the citizens
That's
talking
right.
about issue that concerns us. All right. Now I'm going to remain there for some time. This issue of racial injustice and the abuse of the human right, of course, because we are talking about the human right abuse and all that. And of course, we know that the United States go around, of course, by United States, I mean, agencies working for the United States, going around to promote human rights and all that, which of course is the right thing to do. But if at home you don't even have this right for people, you don't. I don't know. How do you look at that justification? Because I'm not even able to understand that.
Can you repeat the question?
And the question is that, okay, if I kill a goat that doesn't do anything to me, that means I'm abusing the right of the goat, if the goat were to have any right. If I am guilty of that, do I have the right to be going around and start telling people, hey, don't kill goat that didn't do anything to you? So since the United States is usually going around telling people about human rights, if within the country they don't even have a good example to show in terms of protection of human rights, where do they get the moral justification to go around and start talking of human rights? That is what I'm trying to understand.
It's called supremacy. So if you understand the history of the United States, people of color over the course of history have not been considered human beings. So when they do these things, they don't really consider them to be a violation of human rights, because if you're not considered a human being, then they're not violating your human rights, if that makes sense. So there's a battle going on even in that. So over the course of the history, you know, through slavery and all that, Black people were not considered human beings. So were they, in their mind, they weren't really violating anybody's human rights, because you're not a person, you're property. So it's all in a worldview. So those things are, as the population gets educated and people, and racism is kind of going away, because younger generations, we're all mixed in together, right? We all living together. We're not really segregated like we used to be. There are some parts of the country that are still segregated, but for the most part, everybody is intermingling with everybody. So as people's worldview changes and people get to know people of other races, and they figure out that, wow, these people that don't look like me are pretty much like me, though they just don't look like me, and these people are my friends, then those things start to change. And that's why you see an awakening happening, because different racial groups are now seeing and recognizing that, hey, what's happening to this group of people is wrong, and we're going to stand up and say it's wrong. I think that's a wonderful thing. That's an awesome thing. That's the beauty of diversity. Because if you only stay in your little tight-knit circle with people that look like you, that think like you, that act like you, that eat what you eat and do the things that you do, then you don't understand the other groups that are around you. And therefore, when things that are going wrong in those other groups are happening, in your mind, you can't identify with it. You don't know anybody over there. It doesn't make sense, and you just don't care. But diversity says, no, we're all going to mix in together. We're going to be one people. And when that happens, and it's happening to somebody that you know, you can look at it differently, and it'll embolden you to speak up, because you don't want this happening to your friend that you love and care about. And that's why I'm always a big proponent of diversity and inclusion, because if we don't know one another, if we don't accept one another for who we are, and respect the differences in people, the world is never going to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. If we don't take action, the world is not going to get better.
It's not going to get any better.
Taking action is a responsibility of every one of us.
Every human being has that responsibility. Yes, sir.
Yeah. So you were saying, relating to the abuse, the continuous abuse in the United States, which of course never came out. People didn't know. Yesterday, I was making mention of this song. I don't remember the name of this musician who titled this song "Strange Fruits." Uh,
Uh,
you know, it's like we are laughing though, but this is
that's,
serious.
yeah,
This
people
is
hanging from trees, and that really happened here.